My name is Bob Spiel, and I live in the Lindon 4th Ward. So this year, in preparation for the temple, these videos are highlighting in his house. But my story is very unique because it actually starts outside of his house. My family moved to Mesa, Arizona when I was 4 years old. My dad was a retired naval officer, tired of East Coast snow, and we had a brother living in Tucson, and we moved to Mesa, and lo and behold, we found ourselves snap dab in the middle of members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And being really proud Protestants, we found that they were nice people, but they were really strange. And so that prejudice really stayed within my heart for quite a while growing up, until in junior high when I had a chance to be in some members' homes because of some singing groups that I was a part of. And eventually that led to, by the time I was in 9th grade, I asked my parents if I could take the missionary lessons, to which they adamantly said no. Well, being an enterprising 14-year-old, I didn't take no for an answer. And instead, I hopped on my bike and I rode 10 minutes down to the Mesa Temple. And I felt something there that was very similar to what I had felt in the members' homes before, and that was a profound sense of peace. Went into the visitor center and talked to Elder and Sister H. Reed and Judith Nelson, and they gave me my very first copy of the Book of Mormon when I was 14. And from time and again, I would go down to the temple, I'd open up that Book of Mormon and read. But fast forward, by the time I was a senior in high school, my desires to join the church grew even more, when my parents' desires to make sure I'd never join the church grew even more as well. And there were times, frankly, that I would just go to the temple, and that was the only place that I could feel peace in my heart, was there on the grounds. On December 24th of 1976, I took out that very same blue Book of Mormon with Moroni on the cover and wrote my testimony of that book. And it was in the Mesa Temple that I was able to eventually, about 18 months later, take out my endowments. How did it go with my parents after I joined the church? It got progressively harder. I made a decision to serve a mission, and that was not received with a lot of excitement or glee in my home. In fact, it was received with the opposite. And then the decision that was made after my mission to be married in the Mesa Temple was received with even greater consternation. When my sweetheart and I called her family to let her parents know that we were going to get married, and we loved each other, and they'd known me for a long time because I was a known entity in their home for many years. They were just elated with this joy that Bob and Judine were going to get married in the temple. Then when we called my parents, they got very, very silent. And my dad said, "Bob, I've had friends whose children have died in war, and have children who've died in auto accidents, and if you choose to do this, we will consider you dead." So we decided at the time to hold off, to wait, to let them have a chance to get to know her, to have me come down for that summer. And eventually it worked out beautifully. We were married in the Mesa Temple August 20th of 1981. They weren't at the temple, but they threw a wedding breakfast and they were at the reception. And frankly, it's because of my wife that their hearts softened over time. They learned to love her, they learned to love our family, and they eventually accepted the fact that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was frankly the greatest blessing that ever happened in my life. In his house and outside his house, I've found peace.